This is Dan Mcneal, Kid Monster Creations, co-creator of Corsairs, and you are on heritagehiphop.com.
All right, everybody, welcome back. And part of Heritage Hip Hop is not music only. Hip hop is a culture, and part of the culture is always remembering who you were when you first formulated your personality. We call it pruning the life tree. Everybody starts out liking everything, but as you grow, you seem to go towards a different way of life, something that you're into. Introduce yourself to the people, and let's get into what you do.
Okay. My name is Dan Mcneal. I am the co-founder of Kid Monster Creations. I am the co-creator of Corsairs, which is our inaugural comic book that we released. I am a diehard hip-hop head. I'm originally from upstate New York, but I reside in Newark, New Jersey, which is my second home. Been here about 17 years. I just love anything that comes with creativity, whether it's music, whether it's art, whether it's dance, whether it's writing. All facets of creativity and art is just something that I'm really passionate about.
Let's vibe for a minute. And I want to teach you a little bit about me, because we've been pretty good.
Yeah.
But I want you to really get an understanding of me in this interview. So Dan, this is why talking to you is very important to me.
Okay.
I learned how to read through comic books. My mother taught me education through books. So anything you ever hear me knowing about any superheroes, my mom did that.
Yes.
My mom is also the person who got me into Dragon Ball Z. She watched it first. So I was like, oh yeah, I see it. Why he don't got blonde hair? My mom like, shh, my story on, shut up.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? She would shut me down. And most people who are into hip hop, especially if you were born in the 70s or the early 80s, Saturday morning cartoons and comic books were the thing that were your escape, because all you did was go outside and find entertainment in your imagination.
Right.
How did that help mold you into hip hop, into your own personality?
Wow, that's a lot of things to unpack. Great question. You know, without telling on my age, you know, I'm definitely a 70s baby. But I was really blessed to be right at the cusp of the beginnings of hip hop and seeing the creative forces that was coming together, and it was coming from all the things that you just mentioned, whether it was comic books, whether it was music, whether it's dance, whatever the case may be. I think that for me, it allowed hip hop in itself and creative, you know, just creating things. It allowed me to develop who I was and be unique. I already stood out at the time. You know, I was a nerd, really into the books, you know, wasn't super athletic as a kid. But hip hop allowed me to follow individuals that aligned with some of the things that I was very passionate about. Also, it allowed me to follow individuals who had the same frame of thought that I did. And then it made me want to participate in the culture, whether it be as a passive consumer, even, you know, because I still DJ. At one point I rapped. I tried to dance. I wasn't a good dancer, but it just really helped mold who I was and just really push the point of wanting to be unique.
See, uniqueness is what made hip hop hip hop.
Yes.
I remember back in the day, maybe you understand this too, when it was uniqueness that made you stand out to the point where not only were you different, you were eloquent and different.
Yeah.
There was a time when if you were into graffiti, you had to make your own jacket with your name and your tag on it. And then when you wore it outside, everybody was like, ooh, that's fresh. Because they liked what you had on.
Right.
Used to call hats skies.
Yes.
Used to have the shell toes, you know what I'm saying? And being unique meant, this is my style. Yeah. And then your crew had a style.
Right.
So then the so-called gang culture back then was very cliquish.
Yes.
Why do you think cliquishness is what makes a creator so successful? Instead of just following the norm, they establish a clique. So when they create, it's not only different, but it's mind-blowing.
And I'll use comic books as an example, because now that comic books is what it is and it's bigger and brighter, before it became mainstream what it is, and you know this, you guys know this, it was usually a small group of individuals who had the same passion or the same level of interest. It was, you know, a certain type of music, a certain type of clothing, certain movies. It kind of all went in, part and parcel with one another. One of the things that I think cliques are great for is because those individuals in your clique are going to give you their honest opinion. They're going to keep you on the straight and narrow. They're going to say, yo, Dan, that was whack, or that was terrible, versus someone who doesn't really know how you're built and what you're passionate about or how long you've been doing this. Those people become that audience, that judge and jury for you to really create and push forward to make the best type of work that you can make.
That's funny because you know what? One of the most hip-hop movies that hip-hop does not give credence to is The Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
That's one of the most hip-hop movies ever because you had the cliques.
Yes.
Where you had the jock, the nerd,
right.
the pretty girl,
yes.
the weirdo, all of them, right? And it was trouble that brought them together.
Right.
And in hip-hop, pain is what brings most people who do hip-hop together.
Yes.
And through pain, you find ways to be creative. What was your pain? What made you create?
I love that question. My pain was at the time, I wasn't the size I was that back then, and like I mentioned earlier, I wasn't the most athletic. I like playing sports, I just wasn't naturally gifted. My pain was just being one of those individuals on the outside. With, the kid looking at the proverbial glass, looking in at all the cool guys, playing basketball or had the flyest gear, whatever the case may be. So my pain was just not being understood until I got that clique of people who were like-minded like me and had the same passions that I was very passionate about. It's so funny because I just went up to my hometown of Albany, New York, and saw one of my old friends, and he told me, he said, I remember back then you was into comics and people were laughing, and now look, 360 today. You have your own book out, comic books is everywhere, there's a movie every other month, and you guys were ahead of the curve. So, everything comes back around, so it's kind of satisfying.
Isn't it funny how, we call that being the black sheep.
Yeah.
But isn't it funny how all the black sheeps
yes.
are always the leaders of society?
Of course.
And that's the thing, because when you're younger, you don't really get it. Yeah. But as you grow, you grow in ways that the people who weren't black sheeps haven't grown yet.
Right.
It's funny because comics and hip hop are synonymous. They go together like peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah.
Slow dancing in hands. Like they go together so synonymously. Right. I mean, he's a fairy, I do suppose, flying in the air with pantyhose, even sexy, even cute. Y'all know what that song is.
Right.
But that was a reference to Superman.
Right.
I'm your Superman lover. Yes. That's not even hip hop, but they go. Music and comics go together because of this raw expression of the imagination.
Right. And if I can just jump in there, what's so cool about that point is, you can go even further back with like guys like Super Rhymes.
That's right.
When a rap artist gets on stage, when they're creating, he or she is donning a persona. On that stage, they're invulnerable. They can fly, they can lift up X amount of tons. They're destroying their enemies on the mic. It's hand in hand with comic books. And I mean, you can't find many rap verses without some acknowledgement of hip hop, especially guys like a Method Man. Method Man called himself Johnny Blaze, yeah. Stretch my arms like Mr. Fantastic. Everybody has some linkage to comic books, especially when you start peeling back the layers and you hear about people who were into it all their life.
Yeah, I just was watching Wu-Tang Mics and Men.
Oh, yeah, that's great. That's excellent.
Comics came up a lot.
Yeah.
In that.
Yeah.
And even if it was not a comic book,
right.
Even if it was a karate movie,
right.
It's still fantasy. Yeah. And that's what I think hip hop misses today is the fantasy, because we're not selling the fantasy, we're selling the high of the fantasy. Mm-hmm. So when people talk about, unfortunately, excuse the language, eating ass all day.
Right.
it's the allure of being appealing, but there's no excitement in it. It's
right.
just raw. Right. Where back in the day, people would say, I don't want you, but I need you. Yeah. I don't like you, but I love you. You got a hold on me. Like right. it really takes you to the mental capacity of what it is to live
yeah.
and be in that situation. Mm-hmm. What is it like to live in a world that you create rather than operating in the world that is?
Well, I mean, from an ego standpoint, I'm the alpha and omega. So when I'm creating a comic book, I am the god of that world. You know, I can make characters do certain things, I can make certain environments, I can build complete universes, all the way down to the smallest of whatever creature or whatever I'm designing. For me, it's also a level of responsibility when I'm creating these worlds. And I'll use Corsair as an example. My partner, his name's Charlie Fab, his real name Charles Goldbill.
What up, Charles?
And Charlie is, just so everybody who's out there, they know, he's the one who's behind all the art. All the art is my partner. Love you, Charlie. But when we're collaborating and putting these things together, we just want to be very mindful of who's reading it, who's taking it in, what age group, are we representing everybody? And with that power of creating this world and being in our world, we just want to make sure that we're utilizing it properly.